Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another MAINcast. I'm so excited for another chance here at the SOS International Theatre Fest. We are now traveling to China and New York. So, Calliope, can you tell us a little bit about the International Theatre Fest and the MAINcast?
Yeah, so the SOS International Theatre Festival is 8 weeks long, and we have theater companies from all across the world. So this week is week 3, and we are working with the production company New York Mandarin Playback, who has a location in New York as well as a sister location in China. So half the cast is in New York, half the cast is in China, which is really cool. This week we actually have an exclusive performance, which is going to be at 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST, and 9 a.m. CST. So make sure that you tune into the Zoom link only. It's not going to be streamed on Facebook Live because there's lots of audience participation, which is going to be so exciting. We also have our main cast, which is Tuesdays at 7 p.m., and that's every single week.
We highly encourage you come and to our shows. Yes, this Friday is a different time, so please make sure of that. Please check the Facebook link for all the times. But next week, obviously, will be different. We'll be back to normal with our always 7 p.m. Tuesday main cast and our 7 p.m. usual shows. But this week, we are a little different just to accommodate people from across the sea. So could our wonderful people from the New York Mandarin Playback Theater Company please arrive and we can start this wonderful main cast. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
All right.
Hello.
If you all could please introduce yourself one at a time and tell us what your role is in the show and something that you're really excited about performing for an American audience.
Hi, my name is Lena Gu, and I am the artistic director of the show and also the conductor of the show. So I'll be the person sort of leading people, experience this interactive performance. Something I'm excited for the show is I haven't conducted, which means, leading people experiencing this for a while. I've always been like backstage sort of, and now it's like finally I can be on stage again.
Okay, I'll go next. Hi everyone, my name is Yihan and I'm currently a high school student in New York City. And my role at NYMP is actor, obviously like presenting audience story out. And something I'm excited about is that to hear different kind of stories from a totally different culture, because we mainly like heard a lot of story from our own Chinese culture, but like not really about like American culture. And this makes me really exciting.
Hi everyone, here is Yizhu. I'm now a set designer student in New York University, and I will be the stage manager this time, who's like organize everything, always stand in the back of the whole team. And I'm so excited about this performance because I feel we create a container that can allow so many stories happened, and everyone are allowed to tell their own story, share their emotions with us safely, and we will keep the story in the room. So that's why we can't have like live streaming at Facebook.
So can you tell us a bit about your company, New York Mandarin Playback, and what you're hoping to achieve through your performance on Friday?
Anyone else want to go first? Okay, I'll go first. So New York Mandarin Playback was created back in 2016, and it was started with 3 people. 2 are theater and 1 in psychology. And we want to kind of create an organization, a troupe that can allow people who speak Mandarin to kind of both share their story and listen to others in a place that's safe and non-judgmental, but but people who speak Mandarin usually are pretty reserved and shy, and they don't like to talk about themselves. So we think theater is a great way to get people open up and start to have more connection with each other. And so that's how it started. And over the year, we have done performance for mostly the Mandarin speaking community, and in different settings with different topics. We've done topics like food and just have people tell story about food, and actually it's quite nostalgic. And we have also kind of topic about COVID pandemic that's more in reaction to what's going on in the society right now. And yeah, that's our company. What's the second question? Was there a second question?
Oh no, I think you answered it beautifully. Yeah.
Does anybody want to piggyback off of what she said? Like with your interaction with the New York Mandarin playback?
Yeah, like Lena mentioned about like how they want to provide a safe space for everybody in like who speaks Mandarin to tell story. Like myself resonate with that a lot, because like within our culture, we are not like really encouraged to talk about our feelings toward everything, literally, especially these negative feelings. And I just really lucky that I can be part of this wonderful group to help these audience to kind of untangle their negativity and to like somehow feel more warmer, like in terms of like facing these challenges in life. So I feel really lucky to be part of this.
Yeah, same here. And like Lena mentioned, we will have different topics and themes. Last time we have topic about COVID. I feel that's really helped people group up and sharing the same feelings. And it's more kind of like theater therapy that help people to stand back, look at their life and get support from each other.
What's your rehearsal process like when the final show is mostly improvised? So what do you do you said you rehearse on Sundays. What do you do every Sunday? I would almost like a play-by-play, but almost, what are some things that have kind of happened in rehearsal that you're like, oh, this is really funny, but it's never been used in a show. Stuff like that.
Oh, I can go first for this one, because like I think our rehearsals was quite fun, to be honest. I really like our rehearsals because of the nature of improvisation. Our rehearsals look different time to time, and we usually like just listen to members' story and act them out just as we would do in an actual performance. It was always really interesting to listen to members' like secret stories, and yeah, it's really fun. And I think that's a really great way like to get to know each other and like form that really profound like the connection and the bonding with each other. And I think that's the thing makes this group so like connected and so strong. Yeah.
I want to say like sometimes because it's improv and sometimes our actor just have really wonderful performance, and I really just wish other people could see like Yihan too, like you've done both your story that people acted, the story about your, I don't know, can I share it here?
No.
No, okay, never mind.
Keep it confidential.
Yeah, but like people acted, we kind of just play with reenactment. People try different ways to do the reenactment, and we have used to have one of the performance during the rehearsal that I remember very vividly was someone who made up a whole kind of fairy tale that involved journey to the west, and like the whole elaborate story that tried to kind of retell someone else's story. It was amazing, and I wish we could have written it down and probably could be published as like a short story.
Yizhu, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I feel one thing I want to add to our rehearsal is we are focused on different forms. We are training actors to help actor get the skill that they can observe the teller's emotion and repeat those emotions and tell the story in a kind of abstract way. So that helps teller to look back what happened to them and to think about the things in a different aspect. So yeah, that's what I want to share.
So you already touched on this briefly, but could you go into some of the benefits about being influenced by multiple cultures and working with actors from both New York and China at the same time? Anyone can start.
Yizhu, do you want to start first this time?
Yeah, I can. It's a little bit noisy here, but I feel the most amazing things is we're stand in two different culture. So that benefit means we're more likely to stand back and to see the two different culture at the same time and try to understand both the people speak Mandarin who live here in New York and also try to have sympathy with them. So if you're like living the two very different culture, that will help you to understand the complexity of the world and more help us to understand their emotions while they tell story.
Yeah, you mentioned about the culture. I feel the same too, because like the two culture actually gives most of members like a really diverse perspective in terms of viewing the story and presenting the stories. And I just feel like it makes this group so inclusive and so safe for every single story. Like some story may consider as taboo in some culture, but we have both cultures and we know what's going on. And that's the wonderful thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I guess one thing I want to add is actually like it's more complicated than two cultures. Like for me as the someone leading performance, I'm actually holding a lot of culture that's happening in our company. We have like Eating, who unfortunately has she just texted and said like they have a whole blackout in her neighborhood, so she couldn't join us. But she's actually her home country. She comes from Taiwan, and we have people in our company whose main language is actually Cantonese. So very, very, very diverse culture. Even we speak the same language, and I think we have a lot of conversation about these different layers, not just culture, but also other identity that's in place in our own company, but that also help us to understand storytellers who come from other cultures, other different standing different positions in their identities in the society, and help us better understand other people's story. Definitely.
Now, within the world of New York theater, people may not know this, but people who understand New York theater do. There's Broadway, off Broadway, but there's also these like small little coves where you can just go see a one-off show. Pre-COVID, you were performing in these small venues, and then how is it kind of transversed into the COVID world? How have you transversed your show from an improv show that was mainly live, where people, shouting answers and not raising their hand, but just shouting suggestions or telling their story out loud, and not, necessarily it's very fluid, to a Zoom world where Zoom can feel very stagnant, very frozen in time almost, where in reality, sometimes in Zoom, because you can't talk over anybody, you do have to raise your hand to talk. It becomes a very almost a very formal justification of Zoom, where it's an interesting combination of are we trapped in this Zoom world, or are we trying to replicate what we have live? So I'd like to hear more about the differences and some of the triumphs that you've had on Zoom within your show.
First, I wanted to say that just that would be such a wonderful theme that maybe we can touch upon on Friday if someone bring up that issue with, acting on Zoom versus, having a live show in person. I definitely relate to this challenge with transition, but I think what we've experienced a lot was actually excitement when we go on Zoom, like the excitement with now having a camera as a part of the the storytelling, and playing with that, playing with the home environment, that everything become a part of the stage, and the possibility of having international audience. Like we had one show called 跨海, how do you say that in English?
Across the sea, like
Across the sea, and the topic was about people's story about crossing the sea, and then so that is a really good show to have an international audience and people telling their story about going overseas, or choosing not to go overseas, and we were not able to do live shows like that when we're in live face to face.
Yeah, I feel I do miss the pre-COVID time that people are all in the same menu. We're talking like we're sharing the same space, sharing the same time. But during COVID time, we also kind of find new ways to tell story by camera. If you look direct to the camera, or if you play with something like hide yourself behind the camera, or play with some tools to tell story. So there are many fun things we can play with. And yeah, and our actors have so many good ideas. Sometimes I feel, so amazing, that actually what the emotion looks like through the camera. You get the point, and it's so touching when you get the point that the core of the story. So yeah, it's actually give us another possibility.
But I definitely do miss touching my partners, have them
Yeah.
contact, like play with the other person. Like that's just really hard.
I mean, but there's also kind of magical moments when you just know exactly what our teammates are thinking about, and we just make natural interactions with each other on the Zoom, and that's the most fun part, I think. Yeah.
So can you tell us about some of the interesting experiences that you've had in live shows before, and what audiences can expect this week? Like maybe people are afraid of sharing their story, or maybe for the people who are so excited to share their story, like what do you think that we can expect from this week compared to what you've been doing?
Well, I have a personal experience to share because I'm an active storyteller, which means I share story a lot during the performances and the rehearsals. And I remember that I shared one story about my experience of going to American high school, and as an international student, of course. And it was basically about my loneliness and uncomfortableness that I experienced as a teenager when I was yet totally to adapt into a new environment, which was really painful for me because that was my first year, and also I didn't make quite a lot of friends because I'm an antisocial person in English environment. That's kind of weird, but I'm really social in Chinese, but whatever. And I shared one story. I shared that story with the group, and they listened really carefully and really tried to capture my feelings of being an outsider. After watching the whole performance of my story, I had that feeling of being heard, simply being heard. It was like someone really heard your voice and your struggles, and suddenly all the painful parts of that memory just goes away. It's just so magical. And talking to someone will never achieve that kind of effect, because performance carries much heavier weight than just simply a conversation, and I believe that's kind of the bad thing about playback. When your story is being heard and acted out, you will feel the warmth and the power that the performance brings to you. And that actually sets playback aside, apart with traditional forms of drama. And that's the beauty of playback, I think, and because it heals people and it cures people. personal experience authentic.
And I think, I guess my word would be don't be afraid, because even coming here and listen to other people's stories is also a really, really good experience. And we, anyone, if they're moved by the performance and they're, somehow have a story that they're just waiting to be told, I think you will feel it and then you be wanting to tell it. But there's no pressure of, having to say something. And we also think like no story is like a bad story. We've also performed like really simple and really silly things that people just said. Like someone said, I'm starving," and that could be a sketch. So anything that just someone wanted to say, and then we'll just transform that into theater.
Yeah, and I feel we are all normal people living normal life. So every story need to be heard. And the magic of it is when you see someone's story really be heard by actors and the actors get the core of that story. I feel the other audience can get the power too. So maybe because of this, they were willing to share story and share their feelings. And I feel no reason to feel afraid. If you feel afraid or not comfortable, just share that with us. It's also a kind of things or stories or emotion that can be shared, and we will play back. We will let you see your story.
Awesome. I always end the show with the same thing, but I just want to admire and acknowledge that, Mandarin playback has so many cultures involved and ages, it's so different ages from high school to college level to beyond, that I'm just, the ability to tell a story has just been shared through all these cultures. And it's so great that we're going to hear so many stories from many cultures on Friday. So I'm really excited for that. But are there any other shows that the New York Mandarin Playback Company is doing coming up after Zoom Zone?
Actually, we're still planning for this year's performance, so we haven't decided on the theme.
Okay.
And we're very much improvising what we want to do next. But we really invite people just to follow us on our social media, and we will announce what's gonna happen next.
Thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you to you, the audience, who come and watch the MAINcast every week. We highly encourage you join us every single week for the MAINcast. And please join us on Friday night at 5 p.m. for Zoom Zone. And make sure you keep joining us for every single show here for the International SOS Theatre Festival. And join us for our other events, such as our 10 by 10, our food sessions, and our New Heights discussion videos. So make sure you join us for all of those videos in between. Calliope, could you please close us out?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say thank you so much to Lena, Yihan, Yizhu, for all being here and talking with us. And Yiting, we will talk to you at the talk back after the show on Friday. And again, exclusive performance. Double check our Facebook page for the Zoom link. It's going to be at 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST, and 9 a.m. CST. It's going to be one live performance, and your stories will be highlighted in this production. So we're really excited for that. And thank you all so much, and we will see you on Friday.
Bye. Have a good time.